Hello, everybody. Welcome to the whole story. We are here on our first ever season recap video. Very chill video stream that we got going on today. So, as always, chime in whenever you want about whatever we are talking about. Man, today my man Alex is rocking his new sweatshirt that he won from winning the Pick'em games. Look at that.
That MP4, gotta respect it.
Wow. Listen, oddly enough, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but you got that sweatshirt off of Hollister?
Yeah. I went to the F1 store. I think this is too pricey. I'm not gonna do that to John. We got bills to pay. He's got a kid to feed. So I shopped around for a little bit. Didn't really like any of the cheaper stuff, but like gotta respect to my man Senna and that McLaren MP4.
Yeah, I mean, it's classy, it's nice, and it's just surprisingly from
It's
Hollister.
it's comfy. It's comfy too.
Good. Yeah, in the Northeast it gets cold too, so we need those sweaters up here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and like Alex said, he was very thoughtful in the price, so now Carter can still get one or two gifts instead of
Hey,
it'll
hey,
be
Santa.
it'll
Santa don't handle that.
it'll be all right. Yeah, he's been a good boy, I guess. He's on the nice list. Man, how was your first? How was weekend without Formula One? You all right?
It was weird. It was weird. I watched a lot of football.
Okay.
Uh, watched the Panthers get destroyed. Actually,
Yep,
we didn't
like
get destroyed.
usual.
It was a close game, but it was just a very sloppy game. But yeah, so watching football, replaced it with that, I guess. Wasn't
Yep.
feeling too hot this weekend, so I wasn't too focused on anything that was happening throughout the world. But F1, yeah, it's gonna be a long 3 months or 4 months, whatever it is that we don't have it.
Yeah, it is. It is 89 days until.
89 days, so about 3 months, yeah, give or take.
Yeah, and that's 89 days until the first race. So then we'll have preseason testing
You know,
before that, which
we
will
got
give us
preseason.
a little bit of juice. Yeah.
You
Um,
know.
Man, today though we're gonna chat. We have a couple topics that we want to discuss on the season. A couple random topics. I just kind of want to go over a quick year in review for our stream here. Alex and I did a couple videos by myself last year. This season, I reached out to Alex, said, "Yo, we should do this together." He was nice enough to join me on this. We did 34 videos this year, Alex. So
That's that's awesome. Thinking about it, because like there's what 52 weeks in a year, so
yeah,
about 1.5 videos a week. That's
what
pretty.
yeah, when I went back to YouTube to try to find our first one, and it was like 8 months ago or whatever it said, and I clicked on it because I wanted the exact date because I needed it for YouTube. It was like March something, and I was like, oh my god, like we're in December here. We started this deal in March. So 34 videos, Alex. I think that is something to be proud of. Over all of those videos, we had 1.3 thousand views. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I know
it's
that sounds so small, but like it's awesome.
yeah, 1.3 thousand views. Yeah,
That
it's small,
that
but it is cool. Like
that
we're just
tells out.
figuring this out. I don't think it'd be cocky or a big goal to say I want double that at least next season.
We,
At
I
least
think we
season.
we
At
I
least.
think we could shoot for that. We'll work on the social. You and I got to work on the social media aspect to spread the word a little more.
Yeah, I
And
mean
I think it's doable.
there was a social media post that maybe went out yesterday that I don't know if got liked by everyone on the screen right now. I'm
You're you're
just
right.
gonna
To
just
be fair, I saw it this morning when I was like getting ready for work, and I meant to go and like it and share it and everything, and I just completely just forgot about it by the time I got
yeah.
to work.
Yeah, so one of us is trying on social media, the other is distracted, and there was a
Oh, I'm
special
sorry.
picture of one of us at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
yeah, that was another reason I didn't want that share. I don't want to
um,
be known as a fraud champion.
no,
If you're
you
gonna
are
put me
the
in a Mags
champion of.
picture, if
You
you're
are
gonna put me
the
in a Mags
champion.
picture and have me take over, go for 2022, 2023. Not 2021, man. Not 2021.
You are the champion of our game, Alex. That's all that matters. So yeah, I mean, to double it would be 2.6. I'd say we set that goal at a nice 3K views next season. Um, that would make me happy. That would make me do some backflips here for sure. And
You
then,
know what? I want you to hold your word on that. If we hit 3K views, I want to see a backflip.
oh no.
So, so you better start practicing, because I think we're hitting it.
You know what's crazy is that like I'll do some stuff in the gym, but like my body and space, like I've never been the type to do front flips or back flips on trampolines. It always just
Mhm.
scares me. So now, like you just like called me out on like one of my biggest fears, and now I need to do it. So
I'll do it with you. If we hit 3K views, John and I will attempt to land a backflip.
all
I'm
right.
gonna trade for this, obviously, but
Yeah, oh yeah, me too, for sure. I'm gonna get someone who does gymnastics at the gym to help me out. Uh, our top three shows, not big numbers here, obviously, but Canadian Grand Prix recap with 72 views, Japanese Grand Prix recap with 60, and then Austrian Grand Prix preview with 59 views. So obviously not impressive numbers compared to what's out there, but not bad for us. And strange, I don't know if it was the thumbnails of those or people were just into it or what it was at that point. But yeah, those are our top three shows of the year. Alex, congratulations.
no, that's awesome. I'm surprised. Japanese surprised me, definitely for sure. Canadian didn't surprise me so much. I thought we'd get a little bit more views on our US GPs, especially Vegas. I thought Vegas would be up there for sure. But
Yeah, I think it mattered. Some I got, I'll be honest, some I got lazy and didn't make a thumbnail for, and I think that
uh,
matters. But I mean, some of them I was like, which I thought were my good thumbnails. They didn't get much action at all. So, but yeah, no, just some metrics and stuff for
mhm.
us to look back on next year and hopefully laugh about. Man, whew, yeah, me and Alex have been talking. We don't want to like, we have a full off season of stuff here, so we don't want to go too hard. But it's kind of been an exciting week or so, and it's been an exciting day. And the topic I think that everyone is going to chat about, I've already seen videos getting made about that I think we need to discuss, is a certain Ferrari driver signing a contract to 2029. I believe with a clause that the money goes up and there's a potential at year three to get the heck out of there if things are going bad. Alex, take it away. What do you think, buddy?
I'm ecstatic for Leclerc. This has always been his dream team. For those of you guys who don't know, we're obviously not talking about the Spanish guy because they don't really like Carlos Sainz there. Um, I'm ecstatic for Leclerc. This is his dream team once again, and I really, really do like Leclerc. He's one of my probably top three favorite drivers in the grid. I'd probably go Hamilton, Norris, him. Um, I'm glad that he is getting everything he deserves in this deal. Those 3 years are up. Hopefully, he's still at the top of his game. I think he will be. I don't think Leclerc is going anywhere. But Ferrari needs to that pushes Ferrari to, hey, we gotta get our shit together. We have 3 years. We have this top tier driver. We need to get him a championship. We need to get him a championship ready car. And hopefully they do that. And hopefully they provide him with not only just the car, but the strategy to go behind it. And we can see Leclerc competing for a championship in the next year or so. I'd love to see that. I'm ecstatic for him. I'm happy for him. He deserves it. Um, Now on the flip side, I think Carlos Sainz is getting a little shafted right now.
Okay. Why? Because he didn't get a real contract. Why do you think he's getting shafted? What makes you
Well,
say
he's
that?
getting from what I'm hearing from the rumors, he's only getting a 1 year deal. They're pretty
Yeah.
much giving him the Bottas treatment with Mercedes did with Bottas, where they're just going to have him year to year sign 1 year contracts. It seems like, and I think Carlos Sainz proved this year after being the only person besides a Red Bull to win a race, and not just that, but he had a pretty good year. No, he
He
started to
did.
fall off towards the tail end, but it wasn't his fault. He had a big wreck in 1 year, one crash. In the last race, the Vegas race, he got shafted with the floor. That wasn't his fault. A lot of
Yeah.
it was out of his control. I think had those things not happened, I think Carlos finishes higher on the points than Leclerc does, and I think I think Carlos deserves better than just a 1 year deal. Like it's not like clear Bottas, Sergio Perez, like he's the number two driver. Yes, I obviously Ferrari wants Leclerc to be the number one driver, and I think he does deserve it. But I think Carlos is a lot better of a driver than getting a 1 year contract every year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know Ferrari was supposed to bring in a whole bunch of new engineers this year, so maybe some young blood will help that team. Leclerc is actually he's some boys getting some money too. He got the bag for sure. As far as what he's going to be making per year, puts him pretty close up to there with Max Verstappen, which is kind of what these teams need to do if they want the new young hotshot. I guess my question would be, and I'll throw out my answer first, and you throw out yours. I, I just don't have the faith that Red or Ferrari wins a championship and Leclerc wins one in a Ferrari. I can see Red Bull repeating. I'm a three-pointed star fan, so I can see them pulling it back. And I can see McLaren with, getting more competitive every year. I see them winning a championship before Ferrari. So that I don't know if this deal is going to bring Leclerc a championship. I think it's going to bring him money. I think it'll bring him success, but I don't think it's bringing him a championship. What do you think? I know you want
All
one,
right.
but what do you think?
So yeah, I do want one. I do want Ferrari to get back to the top of the pinnacle of sport. That being said, I think it's Horner who says this constantly. Quote me if I'm wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but he says I'd rather have a fast car that has reliability issues than have a slow car that's reliable, because it's easier to fix those reliability issues. With that, and it's not like Ferrari's lacking pace. They're always competing with the Red Bulls when it comes to qualifying. Like I think Ferrari probably took the most qualifying outside of Red Bull in P1 this year. Uh, but that being said, like I think they can fix their mistakes. I think they can fix a tire deck issue. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. I think the strategy is just like a lot of boneheaded mistakes. There's, I don't think you're constantly just keep happening. But I, I want him to win. I want to believe, but I do have to side with you. I don't think they're going to do it.
All right. So me and Alex, it's crazy because we both want the best for Leclerc, but we both right there was like we don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think Ferrari, man, their race pace, they just don't seem to have it. I'm with you. It's so close, but it just never seems to be there. It kind of seemed
It's
like it was there maybe at the beginning of the year last year, and then it fell off. But you got to be there
I don't
consistently the whole year.
Okay, so I don't think it fell off last year, more as Red Bull just improved drastically
Okay.
with the upgrades that happened. I think Ferrari's issues, again, the tire deck is a big issue. They've known that for a long time. They are burning through the tires way faster than Red Bull, but Red Bull's tire deck is insane. It's like if Red Bull threw on a set of hearts, they could probably finish the entire race. That's how
Yep.
crazy good their tire deck is, um, if it was allowed to, of course. Um, I think Ferrari's issues are they have a heavy fuel load. They don't know how to manage everything so well with a heavy car to give them that race pace. Because when it comes to, like, again, like I said, when it comes to the qualifying laps and they're under low fuel, they can compete. They're off a little bit by Red Bull, but they can compete. It's
Yeah.
just the overall race pace, like you mentioned, that they struggle, and it's up to them to figure that out, and the engineers and everything. Can they do it? I think so, because I think Ferrari arguably probably had second, third fastest car most of the year this year. Is that fair to
Mm-hmm.
say?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because like
I
obviously we know.
them and McLaren. Maybe Aston
Yeah,
Martin at the
so
beginning of the year.
so I was gonna say, so we had Aston Martin at the beginning of the year. Obviously, they fell off a little bit there, and they're going to like fourth, fifth fastest car. Then we had McLaren come out of absolute nowhere to take their position and get the second fastest car for a while. But Ferrari was constantly, in that it seems like be like that third, fourth place. But they always, when it came to the qualifying pace, at least seemed to be competing with those top guys. Obviously it's track to track, things change, but yeah. So it really depends on like what they decide to do with the concept of their car and how they want to approach it going forward, especially when it comes to the tire deck.
Yeah, I agree. And when we're talking about Leclerc specifically, the whole Leclerc can't convert poles to victories, and like
I hate that. I hate that. I hate that that's
when
a thing that's being spread by the media.
when you break it down, I think out of the 10 there's been now maybe or whatever it is, two of them are maybe his fault. Eight of them are like DNFs, the team botching strategies. So those are the type of things where Leclerc's putting the car on pole, which is a big part of a race weekend, what you need to do to get it right. If you can give him a car that won't fade away so fast and not make bonehead decisions, Leclerc doesn't step on his own toes,
No, it's just like
too often. So
and then again, dude, it's like everybody forgets too so much. It's like I said it time and time again. Leclerc's constantly trying to outdrive the car. He's
mm,
trying to put. He wants to win with this team. He wants his car to be a winning car. He's out. He's trying too hard, and those mistakes do happen. Everybody's like, "Oh, Max is patient now," or "Lewis is this patient guy." Like that, I guarantee you, in the beginning of their careers, they weren't. Well, obviously, Max wasn't like that. Max is only patient because his car can afford him to be patient.
yeah,
I said it in Vegas. When Max feels threatened, he loses his patience. That's why that incident with was it George? Am I
yeah,
remembering?
yeah.
With George happened, in my opinion, in the first place. I don't think he crashes into George at all if he's not worried about Leclerc potentially winning the race.
Yeah, I'm with
So
you. He
I
definitely
think
lost his head
same exact thing, if not worse, because Max is a little bit more of a hothead, a lot more of a hothead than Leclerc is.
Yeah.
And not to take anything away from Max. Max is a phenomenal driver. It's just these guys are competitive. They want to be the fastest out there. They want to push as hard as they can on these cars. And Max did it for a long time with that Red Bull before they got the Honda engines, before they were competitive. And Max is putting the car on the wall all the time. He was putting into the car into other cars all the time. It's just they're trying to outdrive the car.
Yeah. And you know, until they put the white Marlboro on there, I don't think anything's going to change. But that's
Yeah, I
just
know they got to go back to that, man. That was in Vegas, and I think they had their best race in Vegas.
yeah.
They need to go back to that red and white livery.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they had their they're their best race. They had some pretty bad
Well,
luck, but I mean, Seitz was like in last place after the first lap and came back to finish sixth. So
Leclerc had probably his best race in that thing, potentially to win the race.
Yeah, Leclerc did wheel it. One thing going to my favorite team, Russell crashed at the end of the postseason test to send that W14 where it deserves to be, in the trash. But what's crazier is that Toto Wolff has already come out and said that the W15 is going to be 2.5 seconds faster next year.
I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
So you obviously don't believe it, as Carter throws cars down the cellar stairs. Oh, and big cars down the cellar stairs. At least it's not him.
Okay, let's not jinx it now.
But 2.5 seconds faster. But one thing I did find interesting was he made a comment is that Aston Martin's success this year helped Mercedes to know where their car was good and bad. So I guess Mercedes and Aston Martin have a very similar rear end design. So Toto pointed out that, you know, if Aston Martin's rear end's working good, then Mercedes' rear end is pretty good. So they need to look other places. So I found that early interesting that the early success of Aston Martin, when we were all like, oh my God, they're supplying this engine to Aston and they're faster. Like, what is going on? When Toto was kind of in chill mode and was like, listen, that we know the engine's good, we know the mapping's good, they have a similar rear end, so we know that's good. So these are the things that we now need to look at. Which I was in full panic mode in the beginning of the year. I wasn't thinking like, oh my God, this is good for Mercedes that Aston Martin is beating them. But I guess in a way, it wasn't bad. But dude, 2.5 seconds is a lot in 1 year to change.
That's insane. Like they're gapping Red Bull at this point. I don't really trust Mercedes numbers, especially if you keep on saying the simulations are showing that they're going to be fast, and that just hasn't been the case for the last 2 years. I think even in the last race, somebody had mentioned that, you know, the simulations are showing that Mercedes is going to be on pace with Red Bull, and that just clearly wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take everything said with a grain of salt. I also think, you know, Mercedes is famous for sandbagging, and they always say, like, oh, we're slower than we actually are. It's also probably the case when they say it comes to the speed, too. I don't think they're as fast as I think they are.
Yeah. You know, maybe it's too much confidence for all the years of success, but 2.5 seconds, that is the number. I don't need to write it down. I'm holding that in my head for 89 days until we are at Bahrain, until testing to see if that car is any faster. I mean, Lewis just complained all early season that they didn't do any of the changes that he wanted. So maybe they'll implement some of that. Plus, Lewis out here taking random photos that we think is just cute that Lewis takes photos. But apparently some of these photos that he's taking is like of the cars in the background, and then goes and shows them to his engineers and is like, look at this. So, listen, Lewis is sneaky. I believe in Lewis.
I didn't know that. I heard he was taking photos. I didn't know, but everybody was complaining, oh, that's illegal. So, like,
yeah,
that's kind of fucked up, but sneaky.
Bro's like, oh, Charles, you look cute leaning against this wall. Let me take a photo. Meanwhile, the Ferrari sitting in the background, and he brings that to the engineers. That's what I heard. So Lewis out here being Inspector Clouseau. You know what I want to take a look at, because I spent some time on this graphic, discuss it with you, kind of getting some of our graphic stuff ready for next year too. When it shows up on your screen, you let me know. But it's the constructors' points, and we went over this last week. But this graphic here will show you where they were compared to last year. So obviously, as this loads for Alex, he'll let me know when it's up on his screen. But Red Bull's up at top. That's not a change. And then the changes start happening from there. So Mercedes up 1 place from last year. Ferrari down 1 place. So that's not a big change in 2 and 3. And then you see
McLaren.
McLaren with the improvement by 1 place and Aston Martin 2. And then I
Oh,
think what the
it's
first big talking point
purple.
is Alpine down 2. I guess I forgot how good of a year Alpine had last year, finishing in 4th place.
I didn't know they finished in fourth place last year either. So, um, I guess that goes to show like who was first. First was Red Bull, obviously. Second was Ferrari. Third was
Mercedes.
Mercedes. Fourth was McLaren again? No, I'm
No,
sorry.
Alpine.
Fourth was
They went
Alpine.
down
Yeah,
2.
fifth was McLaren. Okay. So this is a perfect transitional point because one of the topics we did want to discuss today is who that I wanted to bring up anyways, and I forgot to mention it. Who do you think was the most improved team this year?
I mean,
And I mean see like this, the award went to McLaren, and this is my argument against that. I think the most improved team was Ashton
okay.
because Ashton looked nowhere near even like last year. Aston Martin finishing the points, they were happy.
Yep.
This year they were looking for podium finishes or top five finishes, and they were happy. So to me, Aston Martin deserved, I think, the most improved team, at least from last year to this year.
See, I got to go with the numbers here that says Williams is the most improved team.
I was also going to bring that one up too as a dark horse team.
Yeah.
Williams looked great.
You know, by the numbers, McLaren goes up 1 spot, Aston goes up 2 spots, Williams goes up 3 spots. So by the numbers, Williams would be most improved team, especially with some good races in there. James Vowles at the head now, but I'm with you that Aston Martin. You know what I think is overlooked is that Alpine went down to who was at Alpine last year that was now at Aston Martin this year who went up to Fernando Alonso.
I don't think that's fair, but sure.
What? What? How do you not think
The only
that's
reason
fair?
the only reason I don't think that's fair is because this Aston Martin at the beginning of the year pretty much is a copy and paste of last year's Red Bull.
Um,
And I think what?
no, sorry, Ryan was in the comments. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think Aston Martin to me just copied the Red Bull at the beginning of the race. I'm sorry, the beginning of the season. And it showed when they started to bring their own upgrades. Obviously they weren't working with Red Bull at this point. Or copying, they couldn't copy Red Bull at this point. That they were starting to like get these wrong. And they started to slow down the pace. And while I do want to give Fernando Alonso a lot of credit, I do think he's one of the three best drivers in the grid. Max, Lewis, Alonso. I think those are the three best drivers in the grid. Um, I think Alpine's issues aren't necessarily rooted in the drivers, more in the design philosophy of their car.
Okay.
And on top of that, they're stuck with that Renault engine. And I know that Renault. I know they were one of the teams, if I remember correctly, that wanted to change the engines, right?
Yeah.
The engine rule.
They wanted
Yes.
to boost theirs.
So the Renault just isn't fast. The engine isn't fast. So I think Alpine's rooted more in the philosophy of the car. They don't know which direction to take it, and they're probably going to be stuck where they are. Arguably, maybe I could see them going lower if Williams gets their philosophy with the aerodynamics right. I could see Williams getting the P6 next year in the constructors if they get a little more aerodynamics, and I think Albon's a phenomenal driver. Yeah, I don't. That's the only reason. I guess it's not fair because I don't think Fernando Alonso is the sole reason as to why they ended up with that flip floppy.
I don't think it's the sole reason, but I don't think that Alpine would have only had 120 points. He would have squeezed more points out of that team for sure.
Yeah,
For
but it's
sure.
also because Gasly and Ocon hate each other. So
Okay, true. Williams going up 3 positions. I have been on this like low key bandwagon by myself that Williams will always be kind of trash until their screen for their data in the car is on their steering wheel. Which I heard that Alex Albon say that they did that because they didn't want the weight in the steering wheel. They wanted the driver to feel the feedback in the steering wheel, and he said that is changing next year. So if I have been here beating the drum saying they're going to be trash until they have that screen on there like everyone else, and they do that next year, I would love to see 5, 6, and 7, who I think will be what they are now, Aston, Alpine, and Williams, all fighting for that points a little bit closer.
do you think? Now, do you remember years ago? Obviously, this is when I started watching Drive to Survive. They always had the three top tier teams. They were always Mercedes at the time. Number 2 was Ferrari. 3 was Red Bull.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, it was best of the rest. Do you think it's going to be a 4-team thing now next season or going forward, and then best of the rest from five down?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I mean,
That's what I'm thinking.
McLaren made it
That's
really seem like there'd be four teams. No,
that's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
I think I have to
That
agree.
okay, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull. I think Red Bull is still going to pull the one next year. I don't think Mercedes is going to make that jump they keep on preaching they're going to make. Just don't trust. I don't trust that straight line speed of that Mercedes engine. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just don't think they're as fast as that Honda engine. So I think Mercedes and Ferrari are going to be fighting for two, and I think all three of these teams are going to be fighting for two. I can see McLaren fighting for two too.
I can as well. It's funny though because you're talking. You're saying top three tier, and you said you're discussing top three and top four. But it's funny though because if Red Bull comes out next season like they did this season, they are in their own tier. And like they have 860 points compared to Mercedes 409. They were not in anyone else's tier in the grid. They were in their own league. Real quick, Ryan asked, why is there four Mercedes? Because Mercedes gives out engines to McLaren, Aston Martin, and Williams. So that's just kind of sometimes what
You
they
think
do.
they'll stop doing that eventually?
What?
Because like the benefit of being an engine provider is also the fact that you get money from the team to
Yep.
provide that engine. Obviously, Mercedes isn't having any trouble meeting the $150 million budget. So why keep on handing out engines to other teams if like it's not going to benefit you in any way?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it keeps team relations tight in a way. I think it keeps Williams closer to Mercedes, whereas like Red Bull has AlphaTauri. I think it has to do with relationships. To be honest, that's what I
Okay,
think.
that's fine, but I think so. I think I can't remember if it's McLaren. I think is looking to get the Toyota engine in 2025 or 2026. I forget which one. One of them's leaving Toyota. It's either McLaren or Aston Martin. I can't remember which one. But
I feel like it would
I'm
be
just
McLaren would leave before Aston Martin left.
I think so too. But if
So
McLaren figures out this speed, if McLaren can figure it out before Mercedes does, I wonder if they stick with them.
could be. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think back because you don't like the straight line speed of the Mercedes, but I'm pretty sure there was races where Alonso had straight line speed and the McLarens had. No, the McLarens didn't have straight line speed. The Williams have straight line speed. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
the floor.
And the,
That's their floor.
um,
Yeah.
I think what I didn't realize until I made this graphic, Alfa Romeo taking the 3 spot jump down. I only said because I don't remember their season being that great last year. I feel like Joe Guan Yu and Bottas opened up Bahrain last year with a double points finish. Um,
I think Bottas was like living in P5 for the beginning of the season, though, if I remember right.
yeah, and then I
Because
think
because him and everybody was making fun of him and Lewis because they couldn't get separated.
yep. I think they had a little design advantage that got caught up to them at the end of last season, but them going down 3 spots and losing Alfa Romeo as their title sponsor is going to be tough next year. And Haas down there in 10th. I mean, maybe they can move up one or two with Alfa Romeo, but I don't know. That's gonna be tough to get out of that bottom two, bottom three.
I don't see. So Alpha next year is supposed to get in this year's Red Bull. So I can definitely see Alpha making some moves. Because even with, I don't think, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Alpha Tauri, what are they going to be called next year? I forget their team name now. I
We
think
never
they
talked about
just,
that. They're gonna
yeah,
be
I think they
yeah.
just released it too.
It's gonna be the Racing Bulls.
Yep. Okay. So I think realistic. I wouldn't be surprised if they're competing with Alpine next year. If that rumor is true and they're getting this year's Red Bull, because I don't think Williams is going to make the strides to beat this year's Red Bull, and I don't think Alpha's obviously doing it, so I don't think they're going to go below Alpha. And Alpine just doesn't like Alpine is Alpine until they fix their engine. I don't think they're really going to be doing much of anything. I wouldn't be surprised if AlphaTauri jumps up to six next year.
So if we were to break this grid up, we would say top four stays the same, maybe not in that order, but stays the same.
Yep, I would keep that there. Yeah.
And you want 5, 6, 7, 8 all fighting, and then 9, 10 stay the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd even it sucks that it's like this because I want to I want to root for the Alpha guys and the Alpha Romero guys, and I want to root for the Haas. Aren't they changing their name too next year?
Well,
Alfa
Haas.
Romeo, Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo's going, or at least
It's
they're
Sauber, right?
Sauber, and Alfa
Yeah.
Romeo is joining Haas as the title sponsor. So we'll see what that does to that. So that's just the constructors. I just wanted to take a quick look to see where we were at a year ago for these teams, who made jumps up, who made jumps down. I'm saying most improved team is Williams. Also, well, this would go against my argument. Williams also had a doo-doo second driver this year. I mean, that's part of the team, so that's like a negative on their part, and they didn't improve it. But Williams gets my vote for most improved, and you are saying Aston
Aston
Martin
Martin.
over Aston Martin.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's how we will end that conversation right there. Just some more nonsense I got here pulled up. You see Verstappen put a sim racing machine on his private jet?
No, I didn't. But
Yeah.
I heard he got called out for being a cheater in some racing
Okay. I
in the
don't believe
story.
it,
So
but
so it's not okay. So it's not that he like lacks the ability to be like one of the best sim racers in the world. It's the fact that I guess it's the timing thing. Like some of the you need like a certain like ranking or like you need to compete in certain races to get like certain points in for certain rankings and stuff. And some people I looked into his sim times, and some of the sim times are going in like as soon as a race ended. So he would literally have to like, and obviously like Stapp is probably there longer than most, and it just like the timing just wasn't adding up. So
so
I
you
thought
think
that
they're
was a
putting
crazy
different
story.
people in the sim machine
I
for him?
don't know how. Maybe I don't know. I really don't know.
I just
I thought it was a
I
crazy story. I didn't look too far into it because I don't really pay attention to the sim scene, but
yeah.
I just thought it was a crazy story. Like
I
obviously
just
Verstappen doesn't have to cheat. Like he
yeah.
can be up there talent wise. It's just like you need to put a lot of time into these games that are just pointless, stupid nuances.
Yeah. I agree. I just had a question that, looking back at hindsight, I don't know how I felt about it yet, but I wanted to ask you. Um, I'm a fan of greatness. I want to witness things that might not ever get witnessed before. Um, Old Jonathan now looks back and says, I didn't really get to see Michael Jordan play, which I thought would have been cool. I wish I was there to watch that, but I'm watching Braun now, I guess you would say. Looking back, hindsight, do you wish Red Bull would have won all the races this season?
No,
Okay,
not at all.
let me keep spitting at you here real quick. Um, Grant, I kind of would have liked to have seen it. If Red Bull would have lost 3, 4 races, then I'm like, okay, that is the season. But the fact that they only lost one kind of pulls me back to like, I wish they would have just won them all, and I wish we would have seen them win it all. Um, Also because it wasn't Mercedes, so I'm a little bit more inept to say that that Ferrari was the team winner. But yeah, looking back hindsight, I kind of wish they would have just won them all. We would have seen something that probably would have never ever happened again, or maybe down the line. But you're disagreeing. You like the way it
Yeah,
was?
I didn't like the way it was at all. I think I made that pretty clear when I gave my little speech last season. I don't. I think when it gets too predictable and stuff, and yes, some part of the excitement of F1 is that it's not always you're not always watching the race to go see the winner. You're watching the race to watch midfield battles. You're watching the drama unfold. You're watching these drivers go at each other, teammates go at each other, and stuff like that. But this season, it was still like the midfields were very exciting, and I said it time and time again. When it came to the races, I wasn't really excited for the races. I was more excited for qualifying. Every single race, I think I probably enjoyed qualifying more, except for like maybe Vegas. I think Vegas might have been the only race I enjoyed the race more. But that was because of like a lot of the drama behind the scenes for how Vegas was run. Um, I'm also a person, and I'll give this to myself too. I'm a person who always roots for the underdog. I never like the top tier teams. When it comes to the NBA, I'm a Knicks fan. We love to lose. When it comes to the NFL, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. I only got one win this season. Probably gonna maybe double that next year for two. When it comes to the baseball, I'm a Mets fan. Self-explanatory. We love to lose. Um,
So you don't like to win. That's what I'm getting out of your speech here. Is that you're not
yeah,
a
yeah,
fan of
yeah.
winning?
No, no, but
Okay.
it's just like I don't want to see the same thing every single race. It was a big reason as to why F1 was hard to watch this year. It was was boring, and it
Yep.
also ruined our game. It also ruined our game. Let's be honest
It
here.
it did kind of ruin our game. Okay, well, listen, that was just a thought that I had. Hindsight, I'd have liked to have seen all the wins, but that's why we got two people on the show. Alex would not have liked it. Ryan, there is a 0% chance that Haas will win all the races in one season soon enough. Okay,
If Haas
soon
ever
enough.
wins a race,
Yeah.
if Haas wins a race, you know what? It is possible. Nico's been pulling some crazy qualifying things, and if we get another rain out like it was in Spa 3 years ago, I could see Nico pulling pole one time. He
Yeah,
might get
winning.
it.
Ryan's saying they're going to win all the races in a
Okay,
season.
but I'm saying just one race, just for one race. Haas hasn't. What has Haas ever? Has Haas got a podium?
Oh, well, that's a good question. They might have gotten fourth as their best place. Um, yeah, Alex out here trying to crawl. Ryan's trying out here running a marathon, saying they're going to win all the races. Um, Absolutely crazy. Two more, just or three more topics I get before we kind of get into some of our favorite stuff of the year. So we have been very vocal and critical about the sprint races that Formula One has. And they're supposed to be making adjustments next year to the sprint race. I believe it would be practice Friday morning, sprint shootout, which is the qualifying Friday night, the sprint race Saturday morning, and then the qualifying Saturday evening, which would allow car changes to be made up until after qualifying Saturday night. Are you familiar with the F2 weekend schedule at all?
Not at all. But I know we were talking about it a little bit over the week, throughout the week. Sorry, you were trying to explain it to me, but I wasn't really.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
really understand it.
F2 kind of has a good sprint race schedule and weekend format that I'm a little confused as to maybe why Formula One wouldn't try this first, unless they feel like if they had the same format as F2, they wouldn't be as prestigious. But in F2, you qualify, you have one practice, you qualify, then you have a sprint race, which is your revert, which they flip the grid, okay, and they award less points. But you cannot sandbag the qualifying, because that is where your qualifying result is where you start the race.
Okay.
So you can't, I mean, you want to qualify because you want to start the race on Sunday up front because that's more points. But there's a sprint race that flips the format.
So what you're telling me is,
oh boy.
if they do a sprint race in Monaco, Logan Sargent has a chance to win a race.
I don't know. Oh boy. Hold up. Let me see what they flip.
Obviously, they're not going to do it in Monaco, but we all know Sargent
No,
qualified probably P20.
Excuse me. The starting grid of Saturday's sprint race will be determined by reversing the top 10 finishers of Friday's qualifying session results. So no, he will not start first. He will not win in Monaco.
So if Logan Sargent gets into Q3, he has a chance of winning a race.
Okay, if you're gonna look at it like that, yes, he would have a shot of winning a race.
I like it. Let's do it.
I like how Alex's brain just went to how can we get Logan Sargent to win a race.
Wait, even better. Wait. Okay, not better, but I'd be happy. Hulkenberg can get a podium.
Yeah.
That's realistic. That's realistic.
I mean, if I was F1, I probably wouldn't do the sprint race at Monaco. I'd keep it at the racetracks they have it at now.
That's fine, but Hulkenberg gets a podium. You know, this man if anyone deserves a podium in F1, it's him, at least.
You're not wrong. But I'm just saying, they have a good format, like in their cachet there of things that they do. I don't understand why they never tried that concept, especially if you're talking about reverse grid. The main thing, you said it, I've said it, everyone has said it, is that people will start sandbagging qualify. Like what, you can't do that. You need to be like, okay, the qualifying is so important for the race on Sunday that you can't sandbag it, but we can have a little reverse thing. Yeah, my dad agrees with you. With now Haas would have a chance to win his sprint race. Yeah, I mean that's true. I guess if you're a fan of a bad team, Williams, Haas, you're really looking for a sprint race here to grab a dubski. So I think they've. Go ahead.
So one of the reverse grid ideas I saw was more or less like you can't sandbag qualifying like you're saying, and one of the ways to deter that is you just make the reverse grid based on point total. So you would have Max start P10 instead of P1, I guess, because
Yep.
I don't think they're gonna do a full order,
Yep.
right? So like I guess P10. I saw that as an idea, but I like the F2 model a lot better. The one that you suggested, I like that a
Yeah.
lot better than just throwing it away like that.
Yeah. Ryan and my dad are teaming up in the chat here, trying to get Haas some victories.
K
Um,
Mag coming for a victory, bro. Let's
oh
go,
my
K
gosh,
Mag.
Ryan would be so freaking excited. Um, yeah, and they announced some of the race.
He said things, Mister Hole.
You know my dad's name?
I don't actually.
All right, Mr. Hole it is. I like it. Um, yeah, so they announced some of the races. I think they got rid of Baku. They added Miami. I believe you're still gonna have Qatar,
They
Brazil, and
really just want to.
Austin.
They really
Um,
want to milk the Americans.
yeah, they switched. They did Miami and one more that I now can't think of off the top of my head. Um, but yeah, so that's just a thought for the sprint racing and what they can do. All right, two more things I got here. Are you ready for driver contracts? You wanna discuss this real quick? Let me spit some stuff at you here.
All right, let's go.
Okay. These are all the drivers whose contracts expire at the end of 2024. Perez, Leclerc, not anymore. Sainz, Ocon, Gasly, Joe Guan Yu, Alonso,
Gasly,
Stroll,
Pierre Gasly.
Nico, Kevin K Mag, Yuki, Danny Rick, Albon, and Sargent. Okay, so
I think a
that's
lot. I think
two,
a lot of those
four,
guys are
six,
gone.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 have contracts.
We got a
13 if we get
crazy.
rid of Leclerc.
We got a crazy silly season next year.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to line you up for. So Mercedes is sitting there with both drivers to the end of 2025, so they're good. Max is good to the end of 28. Charles now good to the end of 2029. You got McLaren's locked down good, end of 25, end of 26. And Valtteri Bottas, end of 25. So, man, having that many drivers with contracts expiring this year, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think I can confidently say that you will not have all 20 drivers like are returning from the end of the season to the beginning of this next one. I don't think you're going to have that in 2024 to 2025.
That's another topic. Logan Sargent staying with Williams, guys. Thanks for that spoiler, John. Um, no one
Yeah,
knows
that's
how. As Americans, I think we all are ashamed of this, but what's done is done. I guess give him another shot. It was his rookie season. He only cost the team $4 million in Rex.
oh, Alex. Thank you for bringing me to my last and final topic, which is the
But wait,
damages that. Oh,
yeah, but wait, let's go back to the contract talk. Do we have ideas of who we think is going to be 100% gone? I
who is
think
going to be
Perez.
100%
I think
gone?
no. Okay, so I think Perez is switching teams. I don't think
Okay.
Perez is staying on Red Bull. I think I would like to see Albon in a competitive car,
Okay.
but I don't think he's going to get that shot, even though he rightfully deserves it.
Let me
I'd
let
like
me let,
I'd
hold
like to
up
see.
hold up hold up. Let me walk you through it. Let me walk you through it.
Okay.
Alpine, both drivers. Go ahead.
Okay. Alpine.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to hang on to both of them.
Okay.
I think from the consensus I'm seeing from again, this is all social media and stuff. I think they're probably going to hang on to Ocon more than Gasly. I think Gasly's probably done with F1 if they don't hang on to him. It's
All
sad to
right.
see, but I think Gasly's gone.
I don't
Okay,
think
so what's
I don't
next?
think I don't think that's wild. Joe Guan Yu and the Alfa Romeo.
I think he's gone. They got Sauber coming in. Obviously, he's there strictly for the money. I like him. I think he's one of the better paid drivers, but I think he's going to be gone. They'll probably fill him in with Felipe Dragovich or just some young up and comer. They'll probably throw him in there behind Bottas.
Yep. Fernando Alonso.
He'll stay with Aston Martin. I don't see him going anywhere. Speaking of that, did you see that we have 2/3 of our potential Le Mans team potentially happening?
Is that a real deal?
Max is talking to Fernando Alonso about doing that. They're looking for a third one. I don't think it's going to be Hamilton, but I would love for it to be Hamilton.
It's definitely not going to be Hamilton.
I know.
I do think I did. They were discussing a GT car, right? That's what they were discussing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, yeah, you can keep dreaming, but 2/3 is better than no thirds. So, Fernando Alonso stays, Lance Stroll stays as long as Daddy owns the team.
Yeah, as long as Daddy owns the team. But I heard
Now,
Daddy might sell the team. So if he does,
I did hear that too. That's quite a
yeah,
possibility. Haas
yeah.
has both ending. There's no way I see both of them staying. Maybe one or
I
none.
think, if I'm Haas, I'm taking on the Hulkenberg.
Okay.
Sorry, Ryan K Mag. He's too aggressive of a driver for that team. He wrecks the car too much. Hulkenberg's improving during qualifying and during races that he is capable of putting that car in the points, and I think they're going to want that consistency. And if I'm a young team like Haas, I want a veteran leader like Hulkenberg who could potentially give me a podium if we just get this crazy line. We get everything figured out one day, one session. I could see him doing it. I'm hanging on to Hulkenberg. I'm cutting K Mag.
Okay.
Get
I
another
kind of
young
agree.
driver on there.
K Mag's kind of gotten. I don't want to. I mean, they're both on second chances that are rare to see in Formula One. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good story, but I think it'll end. AlphaTauri, you have Yuki and Danny Rick.
My heart tells me I want Danny Rick to go to that second Red Bull seat. My brain's telling me neither of them should get that second Red Bull seat and somebody else should. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if both those drivers are at AlphaTauri next year. Danny Rick's probably going to that Red Bull seat. Yuki either goes to another team because I think he's going to make the jump this season to be competitive in a decent car, or Yuki leaves F1 as a whole.
Ooh, okay.
Because Yuki's, for those of you guys who don't, I don't know, who don't follow F1 like John and I do, Yuki's number one dream isn't to win be a driver championship. It's to own a restaurant, which I wish I was trolling. I really do.
He
But
has
yeah,
enough. He has enough money to open a restaurant now.
yeah, he can do everything he wants to do in life. So I could see Yuki. I could see both those guys at AlphaTauri, and AlphaTauri just fills it with two Red Bull seats, or throw somebody or two Red Bull Academy drivers.
Yeah, I agree. And then that leaves Albon and Sargent. Sargent, who, unless improves leaps and bounds, I don't have. Alex doesn't have to say he
I
will
think,
be gone.
yeah, he'll
And
be
then
gone. I would. This is my dream scenario. I don't know where Carlos would go. Maybe Carlos takes that Red Bull second seat, and I would love to see Albon teaming with Leclerc and Ferrari.
you would love to see Albon where?
In Ferrari.
Okay. Okay. Um, but that is we're already starting on the silly season in the off season of 2024. So we'll slow a roll there, but it is just insane that a lot of these
It's
contracts are
okay
up.
if they drop K Mag's Red Bull will pick him up.
Yeah, there's not a chance.
K Mag and Max would wreck each other religiously. They're both the same driver, except Max has talent. K Mag just crashes.
Oh, that's so mean to K Mag. He's gonna hate the show too. Him and Lance Stroll. All right, let's go into driver damages totals. Logan Sargent with 4.3 million, Seitz with 3.6, Sergio 3.2,
That's not fair.
Esteban.
That isn't fair. That isn't fair. They're taking that wreck at Vegas and blaming it on signs.
Yeah, I guess I can't argue.
It's $1.7 million in damage. They're blaming it on signs.
So I mean, he still has 2 and change though. Esteban 2.9, Lance Stroll 2.8, Albon 2.7, K Mag 2.5. Pierre 2.4, Oscar 2.2, Charles 1.9, Nico 1.5, Nick DeVries / Danny Rick is what it says on my screen, is 1.52. Lando with 1.45. Yuki with a pretty good 1.25. Alfa Romeo with 1.
That is quite an improvement for Yuki.
Absolutely. Alfa Romeo with 1.2 million. Lewis Hamilton 880,000. Alonso 830,000. Bottas is the big shocker in my eyes with 700,000. I guess just when you're slow, not much happens to you. George Russell with 670,000, and then Max Verstappen 345,000. Grand total is $39 million in damages. So that's a lot of wrecked race cars.
Gross. That is a gross amount of money.
It is. All right, that's all that I wanted to get into. You have any more rumors or anything before we get into our favorites?
I'm sure something's gonna come up in my head after the show's over. But nope, I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right. So I'll let you start off. Favorite race of the 2023 season. Again, I know there's no one watching besides Alex, Ryan, my dad, and maybe Brooke on the phone. But if you guys want to comment your favorite stuff, go ahead. Alex, favorite race.
Vegas.
Okay. All right. Um,
Let's see what yours
wow.
is, John.
I didn't even have that down. I have like a bunch of things here, just so you know. Um, I didn't even think of Vegas. Vegas was a very good race. Um, so I wrote some things down. I put on my my show host hat here. I wrote that I think the popular vote would be Singapore. Um,
It was. That did
yeah.
win race. Yeah, race of the year.
Um, you know, Qatar was pretty good in my eyes, and Silverstone was pretty good in my eyes. So I would have to give one of those two my favorite votes. And then I have a fanboy vote, which was Austin, Texas. I know Hamilton got DQ'd, but it was the only race where Hamilton, it was down
Was
to the
catching.
wire. He was
Yeah.
catching Verstappen. He's the only one all year to catch Verstappen, and for it to happen in the closing races. So popular vote is Singapore. My vote is Qatar or Silverstone, but my secret fanboy vote was um, Austin. All right, favorite battles next. I'll go next. I have multiples. I have the Ferraris at Monaco. I
Hmm.
have Perez and Alonso at Brazil, and then Leclerc and Perez at Vegas.
There was another race that Ferraris were racing, wasn't there?
I don't
Like
know if they were
towards
racing.
the end.
I don't know if
Towards
they were
the end,
racing.
was
I
it?
don't know if they were racing like that. That was that was brake lockup Ferraris in Monza. Like the stages there, the moments
Oh,
there.
Monza. I thought you said Monaco. Okay, yeah. Okay, then I would go.
Yeah,
I'd
Monza.
go the
Excuse me.
same.
I might have said Mo.
I'd probably go the same exact three, but I'd flip the order. I would probably put Perez and Alonso at one, and then the Ferraris at two, and then what was
Okay.
the third one again? I
I said
forgot the third one.
Leclerc and Perez at Vegas. Leclerc's.
Yeah, I would do. Yeah, so one, two, three. Just flip the order a little.
Okay. Yeah, I think I did say Monaco by the way. So you are right. But yes, I meant Monza. Excuse me. All right. Next favorite livery. You are the livery master. You go ahead.
Got McLaren triple threat or triple crown, whatever they called it. I thought that was beautiful.
Okay. And that's that. That's yeah. I mean, you
Yeah,
took favorites and just wrote one, which I respect.
I
um,
did. I just put favorite. Yeah, top one. Trying to think of another one I enjoyed, but yeah, I really like that triple crown. What about you?
I wrote don't care. Okay. So,
Come on, man.
and it just man, they just don't like. They're all beautiful in the engineering aspect of it. Man, just the paint
That
scheme doesn't really do it for me, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with
Ferrari
you.
one was dope. The Ferrari
I
one
mean,
was
yeah, the
pretty sick.
Ferrari red and white was cool to me. I don't care. I'll leave that for you.
Damn. Yeah.
Um, all right, favorite moment. Again, I have three here, so I'll let you do your thing.
Uh, honestly, this is gonna be a little random, but when Max was yelling at George during that sprint race after the sprint race, I just loved how much of a hypocrite he was.
Oh my
He
god.
was like, especially towards the end of the season when he goes and does the same thing and then tries to use the same excuse George did.
Oh man, I just didn't expect that to be the favorite moment. And when you said random, I was like, oh boy, like which race is this? And you're talking off track.
What sprint was that? That was
There's the Baku sprint.
the Baku sprint, dude. I thought it was hilarious. He goes, "Mate, none of us have brakes, or none of us have grip. We're all sliding." And then he goes and does the same exact thing to Leclerc in the last race of the season.
Yeah.
It's like he pushes him off track. None of us have brakes. None of us have grip. I mean, I
Yeah,
thought it was hilarious.
I love you for that. That's dope. Um, okay, yeah. Favorite moment I have Norris taking lead at Silverstone.
Oh
Just
wait.
oh
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Honorable mention: Yuki in P1 at the end of the
At,
season for
at
those
Abu
two
Dhabi.
laps.
Yeah.
All right.
Um, I love how much you love that. You know, I really love that. Like certain things you are so excited about, and I could care less. Like Yuki, like He just doesn't do it for me like that. But you freaking love Yuki so
I think he's
much.
hilarious. I
Yeah.
think he's fucking hilarious. He's such an asshole, and he's so right to me.
But I've heard on other
Like at least with
podcasts that
Max.
he's so loved. Like Yuki is so
Oh,
loved.
I believe it. I believe it. But his race engineer hates his guts. I
Oh yeah.
promise you.
Oh yeah. He's crazy. All right, so you threw an honorable mention in there. I like it. I
Okay.
have Norris taking lead at Silverstone. I just thought the crowd was cool. It was the first time anyone was a little bit ahead of Max. I don't think anyone thought Max was going to lose the race, but just the whole setup was cool. I have Perez beating Max at Baku because I think it was the only time besides Singapore where like someone you beat Max and you beat him straight up. He didn't qualify like 10th like he did at Jeddah and have to come from, the back. Like it was just straight up. They were pumping in very fast laps. I think it was kind of underrated how fast they were going out in front. Um,
Yeah.
but I gotta tip my hat to Perez beating Max. And then fanboy moment is Hamilton's qualifying lap at a shot at qualifying first there and put that lap together, and then absolutely just blow it at the start of the race. Yeah, favorite moment.
Qualifying in general is just like super exciting to watch this year.
I know I should have made you do a more. I mean, you can if you want. We have a whole off season. I should have made you do a more in depth breakdown of like qualifyings. Even maybe we'll do that next week. Do your
And
homework.
I'm gonna have to go back and do all and look at all the qualifying sessions.
Yeah, I did. I looked at like some qualifying performances, and like Hulkenberg qualified like third at Canada. There was a couple shockers. It showed everyone's best and worst, and there was a couple like, oh, I forgot about that I think that you would like, and it would put you back. So we're gonna put Alex on the spot next week. We're gonna make him give us a little qualifying recap. Um, I guess I'm up. Least favorite races. I have Spain and Australia. I know Australia, they crashed at the end and it was supposed to be exciting, but I think most of the race was boring before that. In Spain, I don't remember much. I know it was a great day for Mercedes because they finished second and third, but they were still like 20 points. There was, I guess, some passes into one. Um,
Um, I can go
and that,
Spain. Sorry, I agree with you in Spain,
yeah.
Monaco, and I was severely disappointed in Brazil too.
Okay. Yeah, so what's funny is that I wanted to put Brazil with you too because I remember being boring, but I have one of my favorite battles is Perez Alonso Brazil. So I was like, how do I put one of my favorite battles into the least
Well,
boring race?
is it,
It's not a stretch. Absolutely, I agree with you. But Alex has
hold
friends.
on. What? Hold on.
Um, Yeah. So as Alex mentioned there too, real quick, while he's doing what he does, for my least favorite race, I did have always Monaco in parentheses, um, which I feel like is not fair to Monaco because Monaco was kind of exciting. It's like it was exciting for like 5 laps with the rain, um, and around like I don't know how to put it. Monaco's like it's exciting for about 2.2 seconds whenever they start pitting. That's the only time Monaco's
Mo-
exciting, and then
Monaco's only
it's so
exciting for
boring.
the qualifying. Monaco sucks. Monaco
Oh,
sucks. So,
but the rain made the last like 3 laps interesting.
I mean, you know what everybody keeps on preaching too? They're like, oh, if Alonso just pitted right, they could have won this race. I'm like, Max wasn't pushing.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
with.
if Max feels threatened by Alonso at all, he starts gapping him if he really wanted to. Let's be real here. Um, so I thought Monaco was boring. Monaco's always going to be boring. The most exciting part is qualifying. Year after year, it's going to be the same thing. Um, so Spain, Monaco, and my third, I said Brazil. And while you had mentioned that moment, like you had said, I think that's the beauty of F1, though. You might have the most boring race possible, and then all of a sudden you get one exciting moment like that moment was. It was a really
Mm,
exciting moment. But Brazil, the reason I put Brazil on my list is definitely a bias thing because I get excited for Brazil every year since
yep.
I've been watching, and Brazil hasn't disappointed me until this
Yeah,
year, and Brazil just sucked.
and it was
Oh,
the it's why they had to
something I
baby
forgot
those
about.
tires ruined Brazil. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
for the moments, was it Brazil? Yeah, Brazil when that giant storm cloud came over. Thor and Zeus came together to give
Yeah,
Max that phenomenal imagery. And I
all
still want that picture.
I looked again. I couldn't find it.
No,
Um,
no, I'm surprised nobody has it, man. It sucks.
yeah, they had a great transition from Leclerc to Max from
Yeah, I
Leclerc's
sent you that.
Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I because
sunrise, sunset, or whatever it was.
my thumbnail for the show was Max, and then I was like, "Ooh, if I could do the Max Storm, that would be cool." And I looked trying to find it, I couldn't, and then I just went with Leclerc's sunset at Austin for the thumbnail.
Hmm.
Yeah, but like I said, March 2nd, 89 days away. They're at Bahrain. It is a Saturday night race. I don't this which is new. I did a little math in here. 8 p.m. there, which is a normal start time, I believe, for night races over there, would be 12 p.m. for us. So that would be a midday race for us on
All
the
right.
East Coast. I don't know if it's
So,
true or not.
yeah. So something else I wanted to throw in there for, since we're going down like best and worst thing. Obviously, I wanted to do best driver, but that was obviously Max.
Hmm.
What about most improved driver?
Most improved. Did you just conjure up another award to give to Yuki? Or is it
No,
Albon?
no,
It's
not
Albon,
at
right?
all.
Is
Mine was
Albon?
gonna, mine was gonna be Albon. Yes.
Yeah, 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 okay. I like that. You know, I saw an interview. Albon really, I don't think he would be happy with that he was most improved. Um, I just saw an interview he did where
The
he
Red
said
Bull
that
interview.
what was that?
The Red Bull interview where he talks about how Tim and Checo aren't that much different, and
Yeah.
like
Ooh,
he was
go
getting
ahead.
gap less than Checo is now,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is also like obviously Albon believes in himself as a driver. You should do. I think the problem with Albon's analysis is he's looking at a driver's standpoint only. He thinks he can be competing with Max better than Checo could.
Yep.
One, two entirely different cars. We don't know how Albon would be handling this car compared to Checo, and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. Also the same. Two, I'm a huge Albon fan. Two, Albon doesn't fit that Red Bull team the way Checo does.
Yep.
Albon's not going to want to be. He's not. He's not a master of tire dag the way Checo is. He's not a master of playing defense the way Checo is.
Yeah. He would not have
Checo,
driven Hamilton the way that
those
Perez
10
did.
seconds, yeah,
Yeah.
at Abu Dhabi, which by the way, I mentioned it last week. I think he gets so much credit for that, and rightfully deserved. But people always Red Bull fans always point to that as to why Max came back to win the race. Like, how delusional do you have to be to not see that Michael Massey was your MVP that season? Okay. With that being said,
Well, hold up. If if he doesn't, he Max never passes Lewis. He just gets those
no,
10
he doesn't.
seconds.
He gets those 10 seconds.
Yeah, but if he doesn't get those 10 seconds, Lewis could have probably been a pit stop ahead, and then he could have pitted and still came out first. Potentially. Potentially. We can't overlook that. That 10 seconds made a difference. That's
Okay,
that's where
but
that 10 seconds comes into play.
I just don't think he should be getting as much credit for like Max winning that race as much as he's getting, because they're trying to make it seem like that's the only thing that happened that race, and that's not the case at all. The biggest robbery in sporting history happened that race. But
Our 2023 season recap, we still go back to Abu Dhabi 21 because
I
that's
don't
all we know.
I don't care. You Red Bull fans can sit there and cry and sit there and say we're crying about it until you acknowledge that it was a complete robbery, and that Max is a 2-time champion, not a 3-time, and that Lewis is an 8-time champion, not a 7-time. This conversation is never going to stop. It was a disgusting image to present to the sport, especially on what arguably is probably going to be the most watched race of all time.
Mm. Yep, you're not wrong on any of that. Way to bring it back to Abu Dhabi. Respect. Most improved driver. Most improved driver. The whole story is giving it to.
Albon. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so back to say, I'm giving it to Albon, but back to what I
We
was saying.
should give out
Albon.
mid-season awards next year.
I'd be down.
The McAfee show did it. They just called it the middies for football.
Okay.
I feel like
what do
we could do.
So, we should brainstorm ideas. I don't want to do like best race or anything like that. We should do like most improved drivers. We should do like guesses toward the beginning of the season. Obviously, we'll be drastically wrong when Max has 870 points by race 3.
He just
Dude,
dominates.
what do you think the gap is realistically going to be when Red Bull? Because Red Bull hasn't touched their car since August or July, arguably. Preseason testing. Just throw a random number up there because they're going to be gapping people.
No, see, I gotta disagree there.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm just too far down the Mercedes rabbit hole. Um,
I think you are.
but
You had Lewis winning like 7 races this year.
Mercedes had the fastest car whatever year, the last year of the regulations. They had the fastest car, and Red Bull caught up to them towards the end. New regulations.
You 2021, the start of the season.
No, just like in the span of those regulations. You throw
Okay.
out
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
throw
Yeah.
throw out 2020 because the W11 had like DAS and it was like
Yeah.
incredible, right?
Mm-hmm.
2021, that was the points battle went down to the last race. Like
Yep.
so in the span of a rule set, like until this car changes, what 2026?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you make the that RB19 could be almost at its ceiling. We don't know. Do I think it'll improve? Absolutely. I 1000% think it'll improve. But do I
Most likely to.
think
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
no, but do I think that it'll be crazy improvement? I'm not sure. I think what you expect is worse teams, like we saw McLaren, Aston Martin, maybe if Mercedes goes a new direction. I think you see those teams get closer to Red Bull. But I don't think you necessarily Red Bull comes out next year with a 1.3 second gap. That's just me.
You don't think they're coming out with that gap? I agree with you. I don't think the gap's going to be drastic, at least when it comes to preseason testing. I think their racecraft, their race pace is going to be better than their qualifying pace. I think it's going to be something similar like that this year. I could see the 1 lap pace. I could see Mercedes, McLaren's, Ferraris pulling that qualifying, pulling pole more often next season than they did this year.
Yeah.
But I think Red Bull is going to fix the little minute details to their car, like how you said in was it Hungary where Lewis is catching up, or
Austin. Well,
Austin, yes,
I
Austin.
mean, he had
Like
brake problems that they said.
exactly. I think those little issues like that are going to continue to become less and less and less in Red Bull. Because I
Okay.
think Max, I think I saw a stat today. I'm pretty sure that Max completed every single lap this season. He didn't
Yeah,
DNF once.
he's the only
He
driver.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't DNF once, and I could see Red Bull going into more of that direction, like just fixing the reliability things here and there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna. So I could see them. I could see the gap getting close for the 1 lap pace, but I could see their race pace get better.
Okay. All right. I'm with you. I think we're closely saying the same thing. But
So
I do.
hottest driver, Charles Leclerc, Ryan, class clown.
Whoa,
That's
whoa.
tough.
Time out.
That is
Hottest
tough.
hottest driver is Leclerc, hands down.
Not
That
even a
easy?
question. Not even a question. Dude, he has fantastic hair, and then he just has this like sad boy persona going for him. If I was a dude, that's what I'm going for. All right. If I was a chick, I mean, that's what I'm going for.
All
Class
right,
clown's
Alex.
tough because
Keep it rolling.
I think I think class clown's tough because Botas just be doing some random funny stuff. Yuki's pretty freaking hilarious, but it's just because he's angry all the time. Um, I think Lewis has his moments. I don't. Class clown's tough. I don't think these guys are really hilarious though. There's no one that's really funny.
Not Lando?
Lando, Danny Rick, class clown.
Oh, Danny Rick. Yo, whole story, Danny Rick, class clown. Let me take this next one. Most likely to crash is Logan Sargent. That's not even like a question. That's
Most likely to get caught cheating. Red Bull. Can I just say Red Bull? They got caught cheating how many times now?
he wants you to say Hamilton. That's what he's fishing
I know
for.
he does.
Freaking bastard. Best Fortnite player?
George
I don't.
Russell. I could see him sitting in his closet all day playing Fortnite.
All right, I'll go with
Most likely to be
Lando.
the
Most likely to be a
Actually, you know,
Hollister
Max.
model.
I've heard Max is a great gamer. I've heard he's nasty at FIFA. He's like number 8 in the world at FIFA. So
Bro,
I think Max
bro.
would
FIFA
I think
ain't
Max could
Fortnite.
transition.
FIFA
I know,
ain't
but
Fortnite.
I think Max could transition over to like Fortnite and like be decent at it. Most likely to be a Hollister model. That's George Russell. He's got that. He's got that schoolboy look.
Agreed.
Most likely to be dropped off in the middle of the wilderness and survive 30 days. Botas. I don't think that's even a question. Eh, yeah, but would you say Botas? Yeah,
Oh, I don't. I want to go, but
I'm trying to. I'm
What is
trying to
K
think
Mag
of some.
doing in his free time?
That's what
K
I was.
Mag.
That's who I was trying to think of too. Maybe K Mag. I could
What's
see K Mag.
Hulkenberg doing his free time? I don't know. I don't really know what those dudes
Hulkenberg's got
do.
too nice hair. Hulkenberg's got way too nice hair to like be living in the wilderness for 30 days.
So we're
He needs
going
his hair
K.
gel.
We're going K Mag
It's either
for.
K Mag or Botas. I think you could toss it up between them two, but I think Botas. I'd go Botas.
Okay. Most likely to be dropped off in the middle of the wilderness. Yeah, I'm really. That one's really. I'm trying to like go through the grid real quick. What's Alonso's skill set? Does he?
He's just a racer. You throw him in a go kart, he'll beat every 12-year-old there, and then make fun of him for it. For every
Did you
mistake
see?
they made.
Did you see Verstappen and Danny Rick racing go karts?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, they were hitting each other.
Dude, one of them cut like the corner like so much to wreck the other one. It was hysterical.
I don't know who it was. Was it? It was Danny Rick, I think, right?
Yeah, and spun out Max. Yeah,
Yeah.
I respect it.
Like,
I'm saying
welcome
though
to my
that
world.
um, most likely to be a Hollister model with his new shirt is Alex. Hey,
What do you
let's
see? I
go.
didn't get that yet. Damn it.
It'll pop up. That's from Mr. Hole. Oh man. All right, Alex. That is our 35th video. I mean, I guess
that
we'll
lasted
say.
a lot longer than I thought. Jeez.
I mean,
It was
listen.
easy, too.
I think we're gonna have a great off season. I started putting stuff into a wish list on Amazon, so hopefully we'll start grinding and getting some of that stuff. We're gonna be here next Monday, Alex. What do you think?
Yes, next Monday. Right.
All right.
So next Monday is the 11th. Yeah, I should be here next Monday.
Okay. Next Monday, join us. We'll talk about less important stuff.
Fudge. Oh, John. Before
Yes.
we go, how's the fantasy playoff one looking? I saw you guys were both competing last night, but I didn't check it after Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I have a Christian Kirk, so
I'm worried about my team. We're not looking too hot.
didn't
Jamar
Cup
Chase.
just go out with a concussion or no?
I know. I certainly hope not, because Puka Nakua is taking all the numbers though. So, all the reps right now are going to Nakua. Yeah, my team's not looking too hot going into the playoffs. You know, the loss of Joe Shiesty and then Cooper Cup, they were holding me up for a while, but now not so much.
Maybe you need to unload Chase to someone.
It's too late now. But yeah, that's what it is. I digress.
You can't
Let's see
make
what happens. I got Dak Prescott. He's been killing it for me. Stevenson. Vermont Stevenson went out in the first quarter.
Hold up. We gotta prolong the show a little bit here. Yeah, we gotta prolong the show. Yeah, well, at least you'll be in the playoffs next week. You don't know who you're facing yet, though. We'll go over that. Hi. Come here. You in your PJs already?
It's time for bed.
Listen, they say, how about a guest appearance from Carter? They want you. No, you have to come in too. Say hello. Carter, say hi. Carter, can you say hi? Say hi to Alex. Oh, you're looking at Bill Murray on my laptop. Hold up. Hold up. Look at Alex. Alex.
Hi, Carter.
Can you say hi? You say hi? Oh, yes. Oh, now you want to start touching everything? That's all right. Yeah, this is a request from our biggest fan, Mr. Hull. Wanted to see his grandson on the screen. Hey. All right, Carter, here we go. Who are we picking? Next year, Mercedes or Red Bull? All right, and he's gone.
3 syllables. That sounded like Mercedes.
Hi, buddy. Someone just donated $1 million.
Imagine.
Listen, look at freaking Ryan in the chat here, dude. This guy's too much.
McLaren will upgrade their skid plate.
Yo, he knows nothing until he learns these little nuances about skid plates and Hamilton gets DQ'd for it. So now all of a sudden, he's a freaking skid plate pro over here. Oh my gosh.
Hey,
So,
true.
um, man. All right. Hey, that was a good show. First
That
off-season
was a good
show.
show. That was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then we got to learn how to do backflips. So, Mercedes merch I owned. Um,
yeah.
but man, all right. Good show, brother. I love you.
Yes, sir.